We got to get those started.
Right. Yeah. So we're back.
What's up, folks? What do you think about podcasts? Boxing podcasts on ringtv.com.
Like one central
Should I do a podcast?
Yes.
Do I need to do a podcast? Doesn't this sort of count as a podcast?
Yes, it does, actually.
Couldn't this be? I just listen to this. I do.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And
when I'm working on the mailbag later today, I'll put this on. When you put it on YouTube, this is the guy who puts it on YouTube, everybody.
And it goes straight.
Thank you, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's on your Twitter, so it's easy to find.
Right. Yeah.
I had at least 10 people contacting me. What happened to the mailbag?
Oh man.
On Friday.
More people contacted you than contacted me, probably. I didn't mean to skip it. I totally forgot.
That's a good thing.
All day Thursday. It wasn't Thursday. It was just Thanksgiving, and I wasn't thinking about anything else, which I guess is a good thing.
So Coach has his questions for Doug, but I know you guys were shooting in a lot of questions when we stopped. If you have questions for Doug or for Coach, write in about boxing.
My friends.
Yeah.
Argumentov says my friends.
My friends.
So
Okay.
We're his friends.
Are you going to jump rope, Doug?
I should. I was jumping rope.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
I was actually. I want credit for that.
Right.
I was jumping rope while
Okay, so-
Mr. Loeffler was holding court. But I'll jump more. So it's good.
Queensberry.
It's,
Queensberry
so,
one. What's
these
up,
tones up
Queensberry?
the legs, burns calories.
Thanks to Dennis Taylor and
Ringside
Boxing Show.
BoxingShow.com.
That's where I get these off his website. So I'm going to give you the date, okay?
Okay.
And you're going to tell me.
Nice. We
Probably
love
have to
boxing
give you a
too.
couple little hints. This was
I need hints.
this was November 24th, 1990, and it was in Spain. The guy who won by a fourth-round KO. He was an incredible puncher from the U.S. Fought a guy from the U.K. It was for the vacant WBC middleweight title,
Oh.
What year was it?
1990.
Ooh.
And
That's got to be Julian Jackson versus was it Harold Graham?
Yeah.
Harold
And I
Graham.
think
Now
Harold
tell
Graham's
me, wait, is that incredible? Wait, that's good, Dougie.
Harold Graham's nickname was the Bomber.
Vicious
wasn't it?
knockout.
Hey,
Yeah. Well, it was like he was asleep on his way down. That's like the quintessential Julian Jackson knockout highlight.
Yeah.
Although he's got like 5 or 6 that are just as brutal and devastating, where he just like touches a guy, and he knows it. He used to be kind of cocky. He would land that one-hitter quitter, and on the way down, he would go like, "There you go."
hey, I just
They
want to
stayed
ask,
down.
if you're watching Bernie, could you have got that one, Bernie?
He
Okay,
would have got that one.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely.
Bernie would get that?
Absolutely. I know so.
I don't think so. Okay, even though Bernie, we know you know a lot, I don't
knows his
think you
shit.
would have known that. Okay.
Bernie
Hey,
knows
so,
his
we can almost quit with that, Dougie. That is like, that's freaky. That really is.
You got to go old school.
You think that's good, JP?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like,
Absolutely.
Hey, Dougie, I mean, this is incredible. That is, okay. So
Everything from the late '80s on,
Right.
I was like absorbing.
that's still good. Okay, I
Got
give
like
you this
hundreds
one.
of Ring magazines and KO magazines and Boxing Illustrated. All
Okay, so this is a real famous fight. The
Southern
ending,
Pride Joe, you're
real
funny,
famous.
man.
2 real famous
Get outta
fighters.
here.
November 25th, 1980, New Orleans.
1980,
Yeah, 1980, New Orleans.
New Orleans.
It was a rematch. 2 real famous guys. The ending was,
Stupid.
has its own title.
The ending has its own title. The ending of the fight. Oh, no mas.
Right.
Of course. The rematch between Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah.
And Duran was the defending WBC welterweight champ because he had beaten Leonard earlier that year in Montreal.
Queensberry says, "Damn, that's Dougie Fisher skipping rope." It is. It is the one and only.
How am I doing?
So the first fight, I was Duran, Duran Leonard fight.
Yeah.
Leonard was a 2-1 favorite. I was taking a trip to Europe and said, well, I'm going to pay for this trip. I'm just going to bet, I'm going to lay the 2-1
Yeah.
and win enough, for my trip.
Yeah.
and
Never know.
and Leonard.
Doug
Leonard
has
fought-
amazing boxing knowledge.
Leonard
One of my
almost won.
faves.
Leonard,
It was very close.
Leonard fought a stupid fight,
Fought a courageous
and he
fight, in my
still
opinion.
almost won.
Yeah.
Doug has amazing boxing knowledge. One of my favorites. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, from Queensbury. Coach,
Okay.
what was the story where you told me there was different odds on the West Coast and East Coast for a Jerry Corey
And
fight?
I went
Yeah,
there.
that
So
was
Jerry
Corey
Corey rematch with Joe Frazier.
Okay.
Okay.
Second
so
fight.
This is their rematch. Okay. So Jerry Corey here was a 2-1 favorite to win that fight.
Okay.
Okay. But I went back to New York and I bet even money.
Wow.
Got smashed. But the guy who got the bet down for me was the matchmaker,
Teddy Brenner?
Teddy Brenner.
Teddy Brenner.
So Teddy
That's a
Brenner,
great story.
yeah, and the way I met Teddy Brenner is I go to the weigh-in because I don't know who, that's before they had online betting,
Right.
and you couldn't really bet. So,
was all different.
Here everyone went to the fights every single week at the Olympic Auditorium. Guys came from all over and would bet on the fights. You could bet $5 or $5,000 or whatever you wanted to bet. So I go there and I go to the weigh-in and just to mingle around to find someone, see how I could bet on it. Start talking to this guy. I went to the hotel and walked to the weigh-in with this guy. And this guy is telling me how, oh yeah, he was in Panama for this one. Oh, I don't know if I believe this guy. Anyway, it was Teddy Brenner.
Match. Oh my God.
And so
All-time great matchmaker.
he got the bet down for me.
You know what I've noticed a lot over the years, Doug, with matchmakers? They're good gamblers.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
They sure.
And he was the best guy. What a great guy he was. And I went back there 2 or 3 times, and every time I went, he'd get the bets down for
Hey,
me.
why do you think Query was a 2-1 favorite in California to beat Frazier when Frazier beat Query in the first fight?
It was all momentum because
he
Corey
had
had
won a
just
bunch of good fights.
won good fights. He was incredible. I mean, Jerry Corey, oh my goodness, he was so good.
Very talented.
He was, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. But that was exciting. But not lose that fight. You knew after 1 second
Yeah.
into that fight, Corey had no chance whatsoever. Okay, so here's one. November 25th, 1983. Heavyweight. The guy retains his WBC heavyweight title. First round knockout.
Oh, that's got to be Larry Holmes versus Joe Frazier's son, Marvis Frazier.
Got it. You
First
got
round
it.
knockout. In fact, it may not have been. I think he might have been stripped of the WBC title because he took that fight. Because I think he was mandated to fight Greg Page, but he was offered more than $3 million to fight Marvis Frazier, who wasn't ready yet.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know who pushed that
So he
fight?
did that, but the IBF had just come into business. It had just been organized in that year, 1983, and they immediately recognized Larry Holmes as the IBF heavyweight champion.
Who
you know
pushed
where
that?
the IBC was?
Who did it, Coach?
Oh, his dad, Joe Frazier's the one that pushed that fight.
Yes, yeah,
he
absolutely.
wanted that fight.
And Marvis Frazier was a very good
He was good.
professional prospect, and he was a very good amateur boxer.
You can picture that knockout now, though.
It was brutal.
I
Yeah.
mean, that was incredible.
It was every bit as brutal as the Tyson knockout.
Yeah.
Poor
Queensbury
Marvis.
says Dougie has a good ass memory. That's why we're here.
No kidding. So, okay. So here's a fight also. This was November 25th, 1987.
87.
Okay. This guy who. Let's see how I can do this. Well, I'll give you this. It was a DQ in the first round.
DQ.
Qualification in 1987? Was it a notable,
Hey, the
notable fight?
one guy, one of your favorites, who got DQ'd.
Okay.
Got DQ'd because he hit the other guy when he was down.
When he was down in 1987?
Yeah. And the other guy I never heard of before. I'm sure you have.
This is 87.
Yeah, it was in Las Vegas. And Abel was one of the guys trainers.
Terry Norris was one of the guys? So who did he... Because I know he got disqualified twice against... what's that guy's name? Santana was the last name.
This is the guy. I've never heard of this other guy.
Yeah, shoot. So it's one of Terry Norris's 3 disqualification losses.
Isn't that amazing? 3 DQ losses.
Terry Norris was a hot-tempered dude. Also one of my favorites, especially the early 90s. Yeah. And Abel Sanchez trained him. That's right. No, I don't know who the other guy is.
Joseph Walker.
Joseph Walker. Yeah, never
Max
heard of
Kellerman and Shop Triple G just logged on. Max, if that's really you, that was a robbery. Jason Sosa won the fight. That was bad scoring again by Don Trella.
Trella.
I don't know how that looked ringside,
Come on, Trella.
but that was bad. That was. You can't have 2 points deducted in a 10-rounder. Sosa landed the harder shots the whole second half of the fight. That was a bad decision.
And JP bet on Sosa, just for
full disclosure. Full disclosure.
I didn't bet on either guy, and I thought Gamby lost.
Bitter, cranky
It is
gambler
what it is.
this
When's
morning.
the last time you bet, Doug?
Terrible.
I don't think I've ever bet on a fight.
Smart man.
You know something? You can enjoy it so much more not betting on it.
But thankfully, Doug has tipped me on things, including Lehman Brewster's heavyweight title run.
Oh, over Vladimir Klitschko.
You were one of the first people to ever tell me about Lehman.
Hey, I told people to bet the draw
Uh-huh.
with Winky Wright versus Jermaine Taylor.
You did.
And I think the odds were, if they weren't, between 17 to 1 or
Sounds
20 to
about
1
right.
or something like
Sounds
that.
20 to 1 sounds right.
Because
yeah.
I knew Winky Wright would legitimately win 8 rounds, but only get credit for 6.
Yeah.
I knew it. It was also just the way their styles were. I knew,
Not only that, but early on, you told me about
I was in
Lehman,
Memphis, I think.
Lehman Brewster, Edwin Valero, obviously.
Yeah.
So, can make money listening to Dougie.
Oh, well, Sergio Mora over
Vernon Forrest in the first fight.
Yes.
What, you picked him?
Yes.
Yeah, I picked Sergio Mora.
In the
I told
first
him to
fight.
bet him, and I believe,
Yeah.
JP, you did.
I did. I was in Vegas that weekend.
You were at a wedding.
Wedding.
Yeah.
And I was thrilled. And it was a big underdog for the first
7 to
fight.
1, I think.
Because Vernon had never lost in the pros.
No.
7
And
to 1
nobody had
sounds
any
right.
respect for Mora, but that was all about styles.
Styles.
An unorthodox style against a classic stand-up boxing style.
You know, that was one of my first realizations of that in boxing. Styles make fights.
Yeah.
And for betting, it's very important.
Yeah.
Hey,
it
how do
really
you
is.
like Moore as an announcer?
I think he's excellent.
I think he's good.
Yeah, he's very good.
Knucklehead Sean joined. What's up, Sean?
up,
Viva
Sean?
Jerwin Ankajas.
Pretty boy.
The pretty boy.
Coming to America in February. Not necessarily on the Superfly card, but eventually he'll be a headliner on one of those
Double
Superfly
Viva
cards.
for Jerwin.
Yeah.
The
Jerwin's a
man.
badass, yeah.
Okay,
Made
I
me
got
money.
one
In
here.
a deep division.
Dougie got me on Valero first. He knew about Valero. He did way before. This guy says, yeah.
The guy was
Okay,
special.
November 26, 1954 in Tokyo.
1954?
This guy wins the flyweight title.
Flyweight title.
Tokyo?
1954.
You know who they're
Is it fighting Harada?
no.
No? Who was fighting?
No, the Japanese guy lost.
Oh.
I don't know if you know, but the other guy, you know who he is.
Oh, okay.
The
Is he
other
from
guy
South
is-
America?
Yeah.
Pascal Perez?
Yeah.
What a little badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how
this,
tall was he? How tall?
5 foot?
4'11".
4'11". In the right shoes, he's 5 foot
He
even.
was 4'11". Okay.
But I mean, yeah, obviously like a little rock.
Where's
right?
he from in South America?
Argentina?
Yeah. Okay.
Wild card wants to know, Dougie, didn't you call Vernon over Shane as well? Did you call that
No,
one?
I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't. But
A lot of guys
everybody
did.
I knew that was like an amateur boxer at the same time that Shane was,
Yeah.
guys like Chris Bird,
Yeah.
they were saying, "Oh no, Vernon's got this."
Doug-
Can I tell you who won that fight?
Like they had, just like when Shane, I had Shane over Oscar. But here's the thing: when that first fight, it was in 2000, June of 2000, I believe.
Right?
When Shane fought Oscar, I think he was a 3-1 underdog. If you went to any boxing gym in the greater LA area,
Right.
everyone loved Shane.
Wow.
I said, there's no way he loses this fight.
Wow.
We were scratching our heads like, why did Aaron make this fight? Like,
Huh.
what's going on? There's got to be something more to this, Did Shane secretly sign with Bob? Like, we couldn't understand it. We're like, because Oscar can't beat Shane,
And Jack had his best night of
Yes.
all time.
Oh, yeah. He was perfect in the corner.
Yeah.
But it was John David Jackson's work during the camp that really got Shane over the hump in that fight because Oscar fought very well. in that fight.
That was a great fight.
That was an excellent fight. Yeah.
Were you there?
Of course.
I was there.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the first boxing match at Staples Center.
Yep.
But just as many like boxing insiders that were picking Shane over Oscar, just as many were picking Vernon Forrest over Shane. Yeah.
But you know who really won that fight? Why Shane lost that fight?
Oh, Jin Mosley.
Jin Mosley. Because we were all staying at the same hotel.
Yeah.
First of all, they went to New York 3 weeks early so Jin could shop.
Yeah.
But also, they were arguing
Oh, yeah.
about the prenuptial.
They were doing that in Big Bear. They were doing that in Big Bear.
Crazy.
Yeah. Shane was. I'd never seen Shane like this. You know how Shane's like the most happy-go-lucky guy, right? So it was me and House of Boxing, Max Boxing co-founder Gary Randall. We drove up to Big Bear, maybe, I don't know, a month, maybe 5 weeks out from the fight. Shane's miserable. Never seen him walk around with a scowl, and he's pissed, and yeah, he wasn't Shane. It was, and we did this interview with him, and it was the most sour interview I've ever heard. It was just like, but you know, having said all that, I still thought that he was just his athleticism, the power, everything, just that competitiveness would see him through a very difficult style. But Forrest had his number, and Forrest,
Man.
may he rest in peace, was a sensational boxer
a great
and
fighter.
a great amateur boxer. That's
He
how
was tough.
that's how good you know Kostya Tszyu is that
You
Tszyu
know
beat him
that,
in the World Championships.
Jin just took Shane to court again. So when they got divorced, that's the year he made the most money.
Yeah.
So the support was sort of based on that year.
Yeah.
So she just took him back again and got a raise or something. It's crazy.
How is that possible?
And he has no money.
No.
You know, so
English
it's
money.
like, what did Don Hamilton say?
Why not? Women weaken legs?
They take your
Well,
legs.
women like that take more than your legs.
Yeah, no shit.
And you know who Jin's best friend is?
Oh, that lawyer. God,
Judd.
I always hold
Judd
on.
Burstein.
Yeah,
Just let me
Bernstein.
tell you this: stay away from Judd Burstein. And Judd, if you want to sue me over that, go ahead.
Judd the Pud.
Judd.
Wildcard
Judd
says
Burstein.
Jin is undefeated
But
versus Shane.
The thing
Yes.
about Judd, he's got this
Jesus.
sniffing going on all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what that means, but
Sure you do.
I'm not sure. And I hopefully Golden Boy doesn't use him anymore. I mean, they did.
Guy. That was a Schaefer. Wow.
Stay away from
Schaefer, a big Jin Mosley fan.
Stay away from Jin Mosley.
Okay,
You guys can't
so-
say that. I can say that.
Okay, Pascal Perez
Yeah.
won
Yeah,
the
so he's from
Olympic
Argentina,
gold.
right?
Won the
Yeah.
Olympic gold.
That's right.
He's the first
1948 Olympics.
world champ ever from Argentina. And how
One
many
of many
times
great
did he? Well, he defended his title 9 times.
Yeah, he reigned a long time.
And who did he lose to in 1960? Lose the title.
Now maybe that's the Fighting Harada.
No.
I've got Fighting Harada on the brain.
brain.
He's a guy, I think, from Thailand, I think.
Okay. Pone Kitchprek or
Yeah,
whatever.
Pone
P-O-N-E.
Pone.
I have no idea how to
It
pronounce
is.
these
Pone
names.
King Patch.
King Petch.
That's a tough
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Pone was a badass.
Yeah,
he had a
Pascal
nice reign.
Perez.
Pascal
4'11",
Perez.
he was
Yeah.
just incredible.
Yeah.
Dougie, did you call Pavlik over Taylor? I think Steve Kim did.
Yeah, I liked
Kim.
Pavlik big
was-
time over Taylor.
That was a good upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was an upset too.
And a
But
great
I didn't
fight.
think it should have been. I didn't think it
Had
should
a
have been.
great fight.
Great
Wow,
fight.
that was incredible.
Oh yeah, it was very dramatic.
And Kelly Pavlik's doing better now, right?
He's doing great. I saw
Yeah,
him
good for
before
him.
the Golovkin Canelo fight.
He
Him-
needs to go to the same rehab that
Kovalev
Kovalev
went
went
to?
There you go.
Hey, Kovalov, my new hero.
There you go.
You've done a 180 on him.
I did.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, that guy was incredible. But I really watching that press conference
Yeah.
with him. It lasted for a long time.
Yeah. But he had the same glow going into the fight, even before he won.
did.
Because everybody's got a glow after they knock a dude out.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you're buzzing, but he had that going into the fight.
He was
had
really
that
ready.
energy. And
Yeah.
he seems like a 25-year-old, not
Yeah.
like a 35-year-old. So he's, of course, there was no resistance against him, so it's
Yeah.
hard to say.
Yeah.
But it was a great fight to come back.
But to get rid of Shabransky that quick, that's something.
Did what he had to do.
Yeah, most people were saying Kovalev in 8, 7 between 6 and 8.
Well, the bookie said it 7.5, so they thought it would go a bit.
That's what, and I was thinking he'd get some within 8, but I thought it would go some rounds.
It was impressive.
And I thought maybe Shabransky would have moments too.
I agree.
There
with
was
you.
one stiff jab Shabransky landed, and Kovalev kind of went.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I
story?
saw that.
Yeah, but he might have been off balance. I don't know.
Where his Shabransky's wife was with her kid at the park.
Right, and they ran
then she's
into...
talking to this other lady who speaks Russian. It turns out it's Kovalov's wife. I mean, that's in West LA. That's pretty.
I'll tell you what, Coach, though, when you see that Kovalev, how good he looked and how good Bivol looked, it really makes you think Danny Jacobs wasted the opportunity on HBO. You got to make a statement on HBO.
No, you have to. It has to be like
you
that.
know,
But he'll
matchmaking
be okay.
is important too.
But he's not.
You know what I'm saying? Kovalev had better matchmakers
Yeah.
for that comeback fight.
But he's got the thing with Danny Jacobs. He has Eddie Hearn, who's a genius.
Yep.
I love Eddie Hearn.
He's the man.
And he knows what he's doing. So they're gonna build Danny Jacobs up. Okay, so I'll give you this one. This was the 27th of November, 2004, and I think you were there.
Huh.
Okay, one of the greatest fights. It was a 12-round decision. It was for the super featherweight title. The guy who won the title. One of the best fights of all time. Las Vegas.
Thanksgiving weekend.
You were there.
Was it the rubber match between Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales? I was there.
Yeah.
And
Who was a referee?
Oof, tough
remember.
question.
could have been. It could
We used
have
to
been.
think he was great then, and now we sort of think.
Yeah. Kenny Bayless. Yeah. I was very high on Bayless back in the day.
No, he
Not so
blew
much
it.
anymore.
I don't know what happened to him.
Doug and
Money
Coach.
team happened to him.
Doug and Coach, your thoughts on Artur Beterbiev?
I've never been high on him.
Right.
Never. I know about his amateur credentials. I know how strong he looked in his first 5 or 6 fights.
Yep.
But even that blowout of Tavoris Cloud was a shell of a man going to that fight because Bernard Hopkins took his confidence, and Stevenson took his soul.
For sure.
So he fought a guy in name only. I think did Beterbiev also get Campillo? Is that one of his former champs that he got?
I think so, yeah.
So Campillo was very long in the tooth by then, worn, battle worn. So a little bit of a mirage, that strong beginning during his prospect days, and then the inactivity has hurt him. And I can't shake the image of him struggling with this southpaw gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Alexander, is it Alexander Thompson or something?
It is. It's
Brother with dreads from like the
dude with dreads, Alexander.
yeah, from like the Florida area.
Brand. Alexander Brand? No,
No,
that's
it's
a
not
different
Brand.
guy.
Yeah, it's a different guy.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
though.
something Alexander. Alexander might be his last name. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
It's his first or last name. But, listen, Beterbiev got the knockout. You boys and girls at home, you can go look it up on BoxRec or on YouTube. I think he stopped him. I think it was like a show box, and he stopped him in like 7 rounds. But to me, he was having too much trouble. A guy with that kind of reputation was having too much trouble with the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And this is why I love gatekeepers, because they really let you know what you got.
Yeah.
Maybe he knocked some rust off with the 12 rounds he went
Colling.
with the German guy.
Enrico, yeah.
Yeah, but I just think I would heavily favor Kovalev to beat him. I love Bivol over him. I like Vozdik. Love the nail over Beterbiev. Beterbiev and Stevenson is interesting. Beterbiev versus Barrera. That's a good fight.
Good fight.
I don't know who wins that one. I might edge Beterbiev in that one. But that's a hell of a fight.
Coach, you're big on the nail, right?
I love the nail.
Yep.
Excellent technician.
He's really good.
Yeah.
And I love his name.
Yeah. And his English is really good, too.
His name is great. Okay, so I'm going to give you this one. This is someone's birthday. November 28th, 1951.
Okay.
From the LA area.
Okay.
Had some great fights.
Is he still alive?
No, he died about a year ago. He was incredible.
Is he
a lot of
fan
progress.
favorite? Was he an action fighter?
Total action fighter. He won Fight of the Year a few different years.
Okay. LA area, and was he a lighter weight class guy? Like, was he under? Was he like lightweight and under?
Yeah. Featherweight.
Or like between featherweight and lightweight?
Yeah.
Was it the schoolboy, Bobby Chacon?
You got it.
Got it.
Yeah, he had fight of the year. Hey, Bobby Chacon and Bazooka Lamone, I think it was her 4th fight. That was Ring Magazine's fight of the year for 1982. That's the same year Aaron Pryor and Alexis Arguello got tapped. To beat that fight, I mean, that had to be a dramatic fight, right? Yeah.
Chacon fought Arguello.
He did, yeah.
At
Yeah, he
Ford.
lost, yeah. It was, but he was competitive. It's like 7 rounds. It was stopped.
I was there.
You were at that fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get like a top 10 list, the best fights that you were at
Absolutely,
live. 'Cause
yeah.
You were ringside for some doozies.
You went to the old Wrigley Field a bunch of times.
Oh,
right?
Wrigley Field, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Floyd Patterson fight Roy Harris from Cut and Shoot Texas there. I saw Ray Robinson fight Bobo Olsen.
Wow, that was a knockout.
The
That was
fights-
Wrigley Field, yeah, 4th
But
round.
the fights I didn't go to, my dad went to all of the Enrique Bolanos,
Right.
Ike Williams fights.
Oh,
They had
wow.
3 of them.
Legendary. I think they fought 4 times.
They fought
at least 3
at
times.
Wrigley Field. I never went to
That's
those.
how you know Ike Williams is an all-time great.
Oh,
Right.
my God. Ike Williams.
Yeah, when people say, okay, if the greatest lightweight ever isn't Vinnie Leonard or Roberto Duran,
Yeah.
who is it? You know,
it could be
some
Ike.
folks say Pernell Whitaker. You know, but Ike Williams has got to be in that
But I
discussion.
tell you who else was
What a
really...
and there was so many other great lightweights.
Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter was one of them.
And you know, this is what happened. Jimmy
And
Carter
Jack.
and Ike Williams had the same manager,
Okay.
Blinky Palermo.
Yeah,
So who did Ike Williams lose the title to? Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Carter and Ike Williams were born right around the same time,
Right.
and they died a week apart from each other.
Wow, parallel.
And I knew Jimmy Carter.
Yeah. Well, and Ike
Personally.
Williams used to be in the LA area as well. I heard he used to go and hang out at the Broadway Boxing Club. And I heard he liked Oscar De La Hoya when De La Hoya was still an amateur. When he
Wow.
would watch him spar, that Ike Williams liked what he saw
Early
in
on.
De La Hoya. That's,
So I know we talked
That's
about this
something.
before. So what do you think about Oscar De La Hoya and Conor McGregor?
Big fight.
I think he said it with a wink and a smile. I think he said it as a favor to his buddy Tattoo for that radio show, that morning radio show, to
They're
get a
starting.
nice
Yeah, but-
debut. That was the first show. Give it a debut boost in terms of PR, and it worked. But I think the more attention it gets and the more people start talking, I think Oscar will take it more and more seriously. But I don't think he was serious when he said it. Thought he was just kind of trolling, as they say, Dave. You know,
I
but
totally agree.
let's say Conor McGregor called up Oscar, and they just shut the ship for like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
There would be a good chance that they could work something out. But I'm not interested. I'm just
I'm
not.
totally
I'm not
interested.
interested in Conor McGregor as a. I have still not watched McGregor Mayweather.
You gotta watch it.
I watched the first round, and it was so clear that it was not fixed. I can't say it was
carried
fixed
him.
because McGregor was doing the best he could, but that it was so clear to me that Mayweather was like, "Yo, man, we got to go some rounds." That it's not really a contest, and so I've just seen the first round and like the stoppage. That round, I nothing in between. I don't like. I have no desire.
You have to hand it to Mayweather.
I
He
have
did-
to?
You
Yeah.
have to. We did a.
I love it when people say
And
that.
I-
You gotta respect
No,
this.
okay,
You gotta,
no,
not
but-
really.
No, but Mayweather really, that was a smart move what he did.
Sure.
I mean, because otherwise it would, and it helps everyone.
Yeah, no,
It
it didn't hurt anything. I wasn't anti this fight. I personally wasn't into it. Which, by the way, boggles my mind when some people get upset about that. How come you're not talking about that fight? It's like, I don't think it's a real fight.
It wasn't.
How can I get like why would I be excited about a guy who's 49-0 and a first ballot Hall of Famer against a guy who's 0-0 in boxing? Like, why would I get
It was entertaining.
It doesn't make any no.
It
I
was.
mean, listen,
For
it
me,
was
it was
entertaining for some people.
I had a good time.
But I wouldn't be entertained by it.
I liked
I
it.
wouldn't be entertained.
And I wasn't going to do it. I definitely was not until that morning. I wasn't going to watch it.
Listen,
Yeah.
it was great.
Right.
It made a lot of money. How long will that last? I don't know. I
You
don't
mean
think
for Mayweather?
Yeah, I mean Mayweather's just a conduit for money. Just like he attracts it, and then it bleeds out of him into whatever he spends money on.
One thing that it did not do, which people said it would do, what it did not do is I don't think it hurt Canelo Triple G at all. It enhanced that fight because people were talking boxing for 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
So
no, it was.
So the thing is, though, there's
it
so
was
much.
Something. It was something for folks to debate and talk about all during the summer.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought that the talk and debate was boring. It was so repetitive.
Yeah.
Everyone was using the same tired analogies
over and over.
There were about 1,000 sports writers that wrote 10,000 identical column and commentary pieces.
Right.
It was all the same thing.
Over and over.
Like it was just boring. It was, and it was overkill. Really, it's just like, geez, okay, we're talking about this again.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think hurt boxing more? That the McGregor-Mayweather fight or the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight?
Mayweather-Pacquiao.
By far.
Absolutely.
That's the worst thing that ever happened to boxing.
Well,
that
because
was a joke.
people took Mayweather-Pacquiao seriously. People weren't taking
and then after the
Mayweather-
fight, and Pacquiao said he was hurt and he shouldn't have fought and the whole thing. But, you couldn't...
But you know what? But the bottom line is that fight sucked. It was like a sparring session.
Coach Schwartz and Dougie Fisher.
If one of them, if somebody would have given it all and been willing to go out on the shield, people, it would be different. It would be received differently by the public.
Coach and Doug, who did Sugar Ray Leonard beat to win the gold medal in '76? I don't know either. We'll have to look that
Might have
up.
been a Cuban.
You got us, man.
Okay,
Right
who
in
did
if
he?
you know.
Who did he? Who did he fight?
you know.
I don't know anybody that Leonard fought in the amateurs.
It's hard to remember.
Let me ask
But I
you this.
remember
Luis Aldana.
That sounds like a
Thank
Cuban.
you.
From where?
Thank you, Jose.
Yeah.
Where is
Cuba.
he from?
Gotta be Cuban.
Jose, where was he from? Cuba?
Yeah, gotta be
Let us
Cuban.
know.
And I think he stopped him,
Okay,
right?
I give you this one of my questions.
Oh, okay.
November 30th, 1979.
Cuba.
Las Vegas.
Thanks, Jose.
What was? I'm sorry.
November 30th, 1979, Las Vegas. Wins world.
1979.
Wins world welterweight title.
Yes, he stopped him.
Oh, that's got to be Sugar Ray Leonard against Wilfredo Benitez,
Right.
who was 39-0 or something.
Equipo de Dinero, we agree
Ended
with
in
you.
the 15th round stoppage. It could have gone the distance, though. But he had a weird cut in the middle of his forehead. He was kind of stumbling around. And the ref just said, you know what, I'm stopping.
Doug's got 10% left on his phone, Coach.
Anyway, you got the Julian Jackson Harold
Harold
Graham.
Graham.
How do you spell Graham's first name?
Oh, I know.
Errol, H-E-R-R-O-L.
Got it. Yeah.
H-E-R-O-L.
Oh, I thought it was 2 R's.
Oh, just one R?
Unless I have it wrong.
I will check.
I've seen it both ways.
Yeah.
He was a sensational fighter. He was one of those guys, one of the more talented fighters not to win a world title. It's kind of, he just came at a bad time, because didn't he also fight Mike McCallum for the title?
Sugar Ray did win the gold medal by stoppage.
Yeah.
That's impressive. You don't see that much
Yeah,
now.
well, no headgear, and a more of a professional style. Yeah.
Doug, who would win between Mayweather and Pacquiao in their prime from Equipo de Dinero?
Well, what weight class are we talking about?
Right in a weight class.
Yeah, at 130 pounds, I like Mayweather. At 135, I think I slightly edge Pacquiao.
Okay.
At 140, kind of like Pacquiao.
And,
At 140,
and this guy says 47?
147, it depends on when it happens. I like Pacquiao from 2009 through 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody's fight, 2011, but I might edge Mayweather. And after 2011, I love Mayweather by decision, obviously.
Coach Schwartz.
Maybe by knockout, though. The more impetuous Pacquiao was more susceptible to running into a good counter right hand. But I don't know.
Coach Dave, Costa Zoo versus Loma in their primes.
I got to pick Loma.
I got to go with Costa Zoo.
Really?
He's too big. He's 140. Loma's unproven over
I
130.
love Loma, though. I can never go against Loma.
Loma's.
Costa Zoo, not.
But I love Costa Zoo. So I just came up with a good fight.
Oh, yeah?
I got the fight to make.
Okay.
I want to be the promoter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sugar Ray Leonard against Conor.
Conor
Oh,
McGregor.
there you go.
I like it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I might be
Get
into
Sugar
that
Ray
one.
on the phone.
Yeah. I might pay attention to that.
Coach and Doug, was Costa avoided in his prime?
A little bit. A little bit.
Got a Costa Zoo fan.
Yeah, a little bit at 140, but there weren't a whole lot. Like briefly, Oscar was at 140, and Oscar and his people were obviously aware of his amateur credentials and his amateur reputation. But there wasn't a huge demand. And Kostya Tszyu wasn't like Gennady Golovkin.
Yeah.
He wasn't one of these foreign amateur standouts that came to America and everybody knew about him. He was just, like, hardcore fans knew about him. And he's a guy who needed, where belts mattered, and where he really gained a lot of acclaim is by unifying the three major 140-pound titles.
He was the man.
And that was in 2001 or 2000 to 2001, I think.
He was so classy because the Hatton freaking mugged him like a bar fight. It was so...
Yeah, I mean, he was 35 and was sort of semi-retired going into that
illegal
fight, But, I mean, him at his best, I mean, he really got better after the loss to Vince Phillips.
Yeah.
And I think starting with that mugging that he issued to Miguel Angel Gonzalez, from that point on, that was his run. So I'm going to say like 99 to 2001 was his absolute prime, and I think that version of Kostya Tszyu beats a lot of excellent.
But he had so much style as a guy.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, he had his act together.
The utmost confidence, and he was very...
And the way he handled himself.
Yeah.
Coach isn't going to be here next week, so this guy wants all three of our one-line predictions right now for Loma and Rigo, because you won't be here. Do you want to go first, Doug?
I like Lomachenko by decision. I think it'll be competitive.
Okay.
I think the early rounds, I think Lomachenko will respect Rigondeaux.
Okay.
Rigondeaux might even have to go on the hunt a little bit.
Okay.
I don't envision I envision a compelling fight stylistically if you're just really into boxing technique and strategy. But as far as action, you got a southpaw counterpuncher who's got this powerful left, and Loma's going to be aware, and he likes to just stand there, motionless.
Right.
He's like a praying mantis,
right,
ready to strike a fly. And he's going to be watching Loma, and Loma's also a southpaw, and he's more frenetic, and he's going to look to feint him out of position and move around him because, Rigondeaux needs you to stand in front of him or come right at him for, him to be at his counterpunching best. So I see a lot of this stuff, a lot of jostling for position, and there's a lot of mental stuff going on. And if you're somebody, who jerks off to guys playing chess, you're going to be in heaven. But I think it is compelling. There'll be that intensity. But I think round by round, as Lomachenko finds his openings and finds ways to touch him, get him to the body and get him to the head and fake him, he's going to be going to the body a lot. I think once he clips the chin and gets, makes Rigondeaux's legs shake a little bit or stiffen, Rigondeaux's going to go into survival mode.
I agree.
But I think those early rounds, they'll be kind of up for grabs because a lot won't happen.
Okay.
Neither guy's going to land a lot of solid, effective blows. So how the judges score it, it's anybody's guess, know. And the thing about some of these Cuban amateurs, it's like their reputation. They bring it to the pros, and sometimes they get the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean?
Did last night.
And listen, exactly. It doesn't hurt, when you're a former Cuban Olympic champ.
That had a lot to do with it.
And also, like I said, stinker worship is a real thing. Like some folks, they say that they don't see a guy trying to stink it out or a guy trying to be evasive or avoid confrontation. They see a guy being smart, And I'm saying, it is smart as far as keeping yourself safe, but you can't win rounds if you don't land punches. That's how I view boxing, professional boxing, anyways. So, but I think the second half of the fight, I think it's going to be a bit of a disappointment. I'm going to be enjoying myself at Mandalay Bay, though.
Nice.
But I like Lomachenko by decision, but I do think Rigondeaux will win some rounds.
Coach, Loma versus Rigo.
I like Loma by decision,
okay,
but I give it about a 10% chance that he stops him 10th, 11th round.
Okay.
And I think they might just stop the fight in between rounds.
That would be smart if he's taking a beating.
Yeah, he might just, they might throw it in. I think Loma, positively, absolutely Loma wins.
I agree.
No matter what. and I think there's a slim chance of a stoppage, but I think it might go the distance.
I'll say Loma stoppage late, but you should probably bet on what Coach and Doug are saying, because Doug was the only one to pick Triple G and Canelo to go the distance, and he was correct. So, but I'll just be different and say Loma KO.
Let me ask you
10.
this: on the rematch of Triple G and Canelo,
Yeah. I don't have a strong favorite. I mean, because the young man can get better. And I think, as much as I love Golovkin, I think he's plateaued. I think he may have peaked in 2015. You know, like that version of Golovkin that wrecked David Lemieux. I don't think we're going to see that guy. He's not going to get better than that guy.
He was incredible that night.
You know, I think here's the thing about Golovkin. I think Golovkin can be better in terms of being more relaxed and being more of himself in the early rounds, because I do think the magnitude of that event, not the build up to it, but once he stepped in the ring, you know, finally getting the big time mega fight and the big name that he's wanted and that he's been chasing after for years, I think he was a little bit tight in the first 3 rounds. And fourth round, you saw him relax a bit, and then from the 5th round, it's like, okay, it's Triple G time. But Canelo, I think, you know, he showed me a lot in that fight. And the thing is that if both guys do what their teams want them to do, the adjustments they want, like everybody wants Golovkin to throw more body shots, right? So if he does that, that makes for a more entertaining fight. And I know on the Golden Boy side, they want Canelo to stay in the pocket a little bit longer. So if he does that, that makes for a more compelling fight and a more action fight.
I can't wait.
You know?
I can't wait.
But
I'm so excited.
I don't know. I don't have a strong favorite. Maybe I have slightly favor Golovkin, because I do think that he legitimately won the first fight.
he won, but I think when, you know, in the 9th round, when he got to him, and then I think maybe he didn't have what he needed to go that extra step in the 10th round.
Right.
Because maybe he, you know, pushed down the gas, but it wasn't going down.
I think Canelo, by starting the 10th round hardcore, he kind of took that play away from Golovkin. Like maybe Golovkin was thinking, okay, 10th round, I stopped this
here
guy.
we go.
And he wasn't expecting Canelo to stand in the center of the ring for
Right.
the first minute of that round. So it was like, okay, new plan.
I agree with that.
Readjustment.
I
Okay, I'm
agree.
going to get him in the 11th round. You know.
I agree with
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
I think Canelo had something to do with that.
No, Canelo fought in a sensational fight.
Yeah.
So,
I don't
Coach,
love
we got a
Canelo.
few percentage marks left on Dougie's
Yeah.
battery here.
Anyway.
We'll see you.
Hey, you did it, Dougie. I mean, it's amazing.
That was a good question. The Pascal Perez is a good question. And
It's amazing.
flyweights, I gotta brush up on my flyweights fast.
So, Coach, we're going to see you on December 10th,
Yeah,
but enjoy the fights next week,
yeah,
Absolutely.
and we'll see you. Everybody drives, no text and driving.
no kidding.
I won't be able to. My phone's gonna be out of batteries.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
sure not to be distracted in that.
No, I have to do it too.
What's
I
up,
mean,
Coach? Thank you, Coach, for the Periscope. You're welcome, right?
No, thanks a lot. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming, JP.
You got it. You got it, Dave. No problem.
Are you going to be here next week?
I will. I'll be here with Doug next week, and then we'll
Okay.
see you on the 10th.
Yeah.
But next week, I guess we'll talk about Kodo
Yeah, Kodo, I don't even.
or anything else that's going on.
Hey, anyway, Dougie, you're
All right.
amazing. It's amazing, really. I mean, the amount of calls I get, people freaked out to answer these questions every week. It's
Got a
amazing.
memory.
No,
Really.
I like it. Keep it coming.
No,
Thanks,
it's really
folks.
good.
Fun.
Anyway, thanks a lot.
You touch this little
Yeah, I
X
always
in,
ask
in
you
the
that.
corner. Yeah, see?
Oh, okay.
No, I
Right
had
there. And then it says stop broadcast.